Today, I stand before you to echo the sentiments of many proud yet heartbroken Lebanese. We desperately need a beacon of hope through peace and prosperity. Lebanon can once again reclaim the title of Switzerland of the Middle East. We have a unique opportunity for Lebanon to take its rightful place as the bridge to connect the East and the West through our culture, freedom of speech, and diversity. The Lebanese constitution was formed on the principle of bringing peace between the East and the West. Henry de Juvenal, amongst other framers, drew heavily on the Swiss constitution. It is the Swiss that exemplify to the world the true benefits of neutrality. It is the Swiss ideals that help shape the origin of Lebanese politics. And I implore them to lead other nations of the world by taking the necessary steps to assist the Lebanese people in realizing their destiny that was foreseen upon Lebanon's inception. A destiny that was well its way to solidify the title as the Switzerland of the Middle East prior to 1975. This title and distinction is one the country and its people can once again reclaim. Patriarchal Rai has called for all Lebanese women and men to adopt a position of active neutrality, and we, the nation of the world, must give them every possible resource to help achieve this noble purpose. If the Lebanese government can succeed in taking the stance of active neutrality, it will benefit not only the future of the Middle East, but the future of all nations globally. The benefits of Lebanese neutrality goes far beyond the Lebanon borders, as Patriarch Rai explains. Active neutrality will foster peaceful coexistence among various social and religious groups. This will ensure that the 18 confessional communities regain their security and stability. This peaceful coexistence will help revive Lebanon's national Islamic-Christian partnership. The benefit of active neutrality goes beyond the enhancement of cultural exchange in the region. The economy of Lebanon and the Middle East as a whole will also be positively affected. The greatest benefit of active neutrality will be security. The influences of such security will inevitably be far-reaching, which has been demonstrated by other countries in the world. The Swiss lead the world in banking. Lebanon too has enjoyed a long and rich history in banking realm. The increased security guaranteed by an active neutral position, which Switzerland too has demonstrated, would undoubtedly revive and advance Lebanon's once strong banking tradition. Additionally, maintaining a neutral political position has benefited Switzerland's tourism industry. In 2016, the World Economic Forum ranked Switzerland in the top 10 places for travel. Beirut City and Lebanon as a whole were once highly sought after travel destinations. By abstaining from the international conflicts, Lebanon's security will also enhance, allowing it potentially gain tourist trust and become a hub of travel, adventure, and cultural exchange. When the Prime Minister announced the resignation of his government on 10 August 2020, it not only signaled an opportunity for political reformation, but also an ability for Lebanon to act as a center point among various cultures in the region through its prime geographic positioning. As Rai noted, Lebanon can provide an indispensable forum for dialogue between religions, cultures, and civilizations. Neutrality does not mean that Lebanon will sit idle as injustices continue among its neighbors. On the contrary, Lebanon hopes to become a focal point of mediation and reconciliation between Arab countries. Lebanon aspires to position itself to better help resolve the age-old conflicts still present in the area. Furthermore, Lebanon shall definitely refuse to join any coalitions, axis, or political conflicts or wars. The country will also refrain from allowing any foreign state to invade, occupy, or to use Lebanese soil for any military purposes. None of these dreams can be realized if the international community remains silent and complacent to the troubles of Lebanese people. If the world remains blind to the 500,000 Palestinian refugees and 1.5 million Syrian refugees that are forced to live in Lebanon and the trouble that transpire from their displacement, none of these dreams can be realized. If the Security Council does not take every possible action to ensure the neutrality of Lebanon, the future and freedom of the Lebanese people will be distant to dream. We, nations of the world, must find reasonable and lasting solutions for all the refugees that remain on the Lebanese soil. This not only aids Lebanon, but also the refugees who consider themselves foreigners of this land and long to return to their native soil. We must ensure that the humanitarian aid is given to those that need it and find a practical approach to return these people to the homes that they unendingly yearn for. On 5 July 2020, Maronite Patriarch Bshara Butrus al-Ra'i called on the United Nations to reaffirm the independence of Lebanon and to implement all relevant resolutions. I call on the Security Council to take that action now. Additionally, I call on Mrs. Pascal Bayrusewal of Switzerland to ensure that the United Nations renews its determination to implement Resolution 1559 adopted by a vote of 9-0 over a decade ago. The global stage must assist the Lebanese people in having continual fair and free presidential elections, without which no democracy can ever thrive. Free and honest presidential elections that cannot be realized while the foreign soldiers remain on Lebanese soil or foreign interests still wield political might. Political corruption is the risk of all societies, even those formed in the purest of intentions. Outsider influence from neighboring nations has had a powerful effect on Lebanon and its political system. In Transparency International's 2019 Corruption Perception Index, Lebanon ranked 137 out of 180 countries of the world's most corrupted nation, 180 being the most corrupt. When Resolution 1559 was passed, Mohammed Isa, Secretary General of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Immigrants of Lebanon, said that these matters were purely internal, a thought echoed by many council members that choose to abstain from voting. Had so many nations choosing to act when Lebanon clearly needed assistance, we could be 16 years closer to a peaceful coexistence in the Middle East. I call for the Security Council to take greater measures to ensure the implementation of Resolution 1701. The hostilities between Hezbollah and Israel are a conflict central to the degradation and unrest in Lebanon. These deep-seated and religiously fueled disagreements threaten the very fabric of Lebanese society and are the type of issues that can be avoided by adopting the position of national active neutrality. Sadly, we still see active disputes on the Blue Line occurring as recently as 26 August 2020 between Israel and Hezbollah. Who was wrong or right remains to be verified, and those responsible for the bombing in Beirut early in August may never be brought to justice. Until its borders are clearly and absolutely defined, these type of battles will continue. The Lebanese government must become the absolute force and definitive power of its sovereign land. Until all militias are disarmed, until all military forces are removed from Lebanese lands, until the LAF is the premier military might in the nation, the UNIFIL must be supported to keep peace along the Lebanese border. This border must be made safe from the violent dispute that threaten the safety of the surrounding community, and particularly against the material used to inflict harm on these citizens. Resolution 1701 tasked the countries of the world and the interim force to protect these men, women, and children. I ask you now to once again renew this goal and help Lebanon finally realize the future that was envisioned when the Security Council strongly voted in favor for these resolutions. Clearly, the Lebanese government cannot independently complete the task set 14 years ago in these resolutions. The help of the UNIFIL and even the military and financial assistance of the United States has yet to succeed in securing the Lebanese government sovereignty. If the effort to date had been sufficient, if the mandate set forth by Resolution 1559, 1701, or any of predecessor upheld, perhaps we will not be at this conference. The need of this conference alone is reason enough for the global community to take a greater role in helping resolve these hostilities once and for all. Hostilities that mirror experiences over the history of many member states. I call on this Council to take definitive action in ensuring the disarmament of troops over Blue Line and Litani River. I call on nations of the world to do everything in their power to seize the export of weapons and illicit materials to Lebanon. Lebanon was founded on pure principles. If we accept Patriarchal Rai's premise that Lebanon's unfortunate current condition is primarily the result of country's decision to sign the Cairo Accord, can one decision lead to its resurrection? Can one decision change its entire future course like it has in the past? Can the decision of this Council to act now to restore the Lebanese people's futures, which they once viewed in such zeal and excitement? We've taken the initial steps to secure Lebanon's neutrality and freedom. We've passed the resolutions that will facilitate the attainment of this goal, but the time has come to ensure that all stipulations of Resolution 1559 of 2004 and Resolution 1701 of 2006 are fully honored and not treated in the laissez-faire manner that has been the distinction of these resolutions. The General Assembly took an additional step last year by endorsing President Aoun's initiative to establish the Academy for Human Encounters and Dialogue. The formation of this academy is clear evidence of the growing support by the Lebanese people and the Lebanese government for active neutrality. I implore you all, please come to the aid of the Lebanese people. Please come to the aid of the Palestinian refugees. Please come to the aid of the Syrian refugees. The Middle East needs Lebanon to take its rightful place as an oasis of communication. And Lebanon needs the world assistance now, while the tides of public opinion turn away from the threats, fanatism, and foreign interferences. Let those factions and forces and interference be subdued by the voices of peace and prosperity for Lebanon and the Middle East. I wholeheartedly urge you to heed the call of Patriarch Bishara Butrus al-Rai and reaffirm the sovereignty of Lebanon to ensure the future safety and prosperity of a vibrant, diverse, and internationally indispensable society. Thank you for listening to me.